What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is March 29th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And today we've got a very key topic to discuss in regards to crypto markets, but as you can probably tell, my nose is a bit stuffed up, so I'll keep it brief and straight to the point. Today we're going to be discussing what I like to call from time to time the calm before the storm, and that is when a market of some sort is setting up for a really big move to the upside or downside. I know, playing it both ways, but we're in what I like to call the twilight zone. We're in this time period in markets where volatility is very low. We're narrowing in on some major indicators. And for some of the major marketplaces, not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum and Ripple, we're getting to a point where we are going to see a very substantial move, in my opinion. So I'll go through my reasoning on that and take a look over the overall market. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So taking a look over the last 24 hours, markets have been relatively neutral. For a good set of laughs, we've got Repo Coin leading the market with a whopping $44,000 in volume. But overall, guys, in all seriousness, crypto markets are very lacking in volatility. You can see the majority of cryptocurrencies here are really in a phase where they're just moving up or down less than a percentage point, if anything, 1 to 2%. So we're reaching volatility levels that are less than equities in traditional markets. Take that into mind real quick. But going over to take a look at the quarter here, we're right up towards the peak here of where we saw the previous high in February in this previous first quarter of 2019. And as we're starting to wrap up here the month of March and step into April, it is interesting that we're tailing right at these same levels. Now, as we go through here, though, another thing to point out is that Bitcoin dominance is again pressing towards those lows again. Consistently, we have rebounded every single time off of that. But with this long drawn down view and testing it yet again, it might be a point for it to potentially break down. Now, what would this mean for markets? As we discuss, it means that other coins or altcoins, which have already been gaining, would continue to probably gain some substantial value or dominance in the market. And again, from our last peak over here at 27%, we've still got about 4 percentage points to go in order to get to that level. And on the max chart here, we can see that in the broader trend of things, that it looks like other coins are pressing up for higher levels every single time. And this doesn't mean bad news for Bitcoin. It just means that there's more cryptocurrencies coming into the space. It can definitely mean that Bitcoin's still moving up. But let's go ahead and take a look on the technical side of things as to why I'm calling this the calm before the storm and why I feel we're in one of those scenarios to really justify that. So we can see here that Bitcoin has been holding very nicely on the McKinley dynamic ever since it started making support here back in February. Again, guys, I recommend you guys definitely consider using the McKinley dynamic. I think it's a little bit of an underestimated indicator. And you can see here just how much of a role it's been playing here on providing support for Bitcoin and previous resistance as well, and support here in the past and resistance. As we can see here, as we just keep going back, we can see how it's been playing a pretty big role. So taking that into account, though, let's talk about really the price ranges that have gotten me either bullish or bearish. If we get a close above 4,200, this is going to definitely excite me because this has been a range we have yet to really close above substantially. We had one candle over here where we had a close at 42.48, but this has really been the key level of resistance. I think the big even level, you could call it 42.50 if you want. I don't really care. You can get really nitpicky about it, but I think more than anything, this is the range we need to look for a close. And then it'll be a matter of getting above the 200-day moving average, which is coming downward in this case. But you've got about a $400 gap here, and in this market, with Bitcoin being around 4,000, that's a 10% move, right? So again, this is some substantial room for markets to gain here, for altcoins to take a little bit of risk. And I think if you can get a nice breakout here with some solid volume, that's when you can start to take the bullish note here. But we are in this bottoming phase, in my opinion. I don't think that we're going to really get this just yet. And in fact, I think it's much more realistic that we're going to get a fake out where prices do break out above 4,200, but they come down and close at the end of the day. I think we're going to have a BitMEX play where they prop things up in the market and it's going to dump right back down. And in fact, I think we're going to come back to this line of support here at around 3,600 over the next week. I think that's much more likely. Now, the bearish case here for cryptocurrencies in the grand scheme of things would be that if that reversal happens, if we don't have the close above 4,200, then I would start to turn quite bearish in the short term. And I think that we're going to come back down to these levels. And even worse than that, if we can't maintain support on this line, we're going to be coming back down over a slow period here, testing down here in the mid part of April, back towards the lows at 3150. And then from there, potentially have a double bottom in markets. And I think that's the lowest you'll see Bitcoin go, in my opinion. But again, everyone has different opinions. Now, the reason I think it's very likely that the worst case scenario happens, or I guess the second worst case scenario where we come back down to this support line, even though we're making higher lows here in the grand scheme of the uptrend, the reason why I think that's much more likely, guys, is just take a look at the volume here. I don't need to sell it to you guys, and just like we have a chance to potentially have a breakout as we have with these parabolic lines, which is probably what we're going to get here. And the weekly chart has been looking nice in regards to price action, but the volume is just pitiful, guys. We just don't have it yet. There isn't that kind of catalyst in the market. What we need to see, and I'll go ahead and bring up a good example here from the previous market cycle. Not everything is going to be similar, but what we need to see is this change and shift over a multi-month period in volume here. This is the weekly chart, but we're taking a look here at months worth of price action, pretty much the full year of 2015, where during this bottoming process, we had multiple cycles hitting this high range here around $300 and testing the support range at 200. Right? That's some pretty substantial price move. And at the end here, we had an exit from that channel. We got out of that price range, made support on top of it. As you can see here, this is where we bottomed, which was previous resistance for Bitcoin. And you had this great channel of ascending volume here. That's exactly what we want to see. And see it on some of the major exchanges rather than all of the wash trading, market making exchanges that we've been seeing. So again, I think it's very likely to come back down, test this 200 week, test this line of support again. And, again, I think we're going to get a fake out. I really think we are, guys. So we'll have to see. Who knows? If it can hold, if it can close there for a day or two above that price range, I'll get very, very excited in that matter. But we have yet to see it just yet. So let's go ahead. I want to take a look at two more leaders here, and then we'll cut it short, guys. I'll give you one quick announcement outside of that. ETH USD. Ethereum, I think, again, will not be able to break out. We have a chance here. If we break above the 200-day moving average and have a close above there, and we get above, for example, this line of resistance here, I think ETH could continue to rally quite nicely and test up towards some of these other previous resistant ranges at 200 to 220. But I think it's more likely for this to come back down and find support here at $120 or around 120.50 in regards to the long-term support line. Again, I think this is something that's going to build up for multiple months, guys. As ETH starts to make lower highs, as Bitcoin goes through its bottoming channel around 3,000 to 4,000, I think that you're going to see this holding higher levels, and that's going to assess that markets are getting more prepared for risk-taking. Again, I know it's not fun to think that it's going to take a few months, but I'm thinking more in I'm a pragmatic optimist. I believe this market is going to move up, but I'm not going to try to sell you guys short and try to sell you hype in that case. I really want to give you what I can analyze, at least in this time. And again, it's just my opinion, guys. It's not financial advice. You have to kind of take it for what it is. But again, I recommend that you guys take in a few different opinion points. It's just what I can see in markets at the moment. So it's why I'm not excessively trading or stacking up or feeling like I have to stack up right away. So let's go ahead and take a look here with XRP on Bitstamp. This is the third player that I would recommend you guys watch, and take a look at the USD chart here. Look how we're narrowing in here. I always like to think of using parabolic lines sometimes, especially with trend lines and other parabolic lines, and seeing how price coils in. I love that because it's similar to how people use Bollinger Bands and a lot of technical indicators that kind of can help you predict if markets have gotten too lacking in volatility and if there's a point for a breakout. And with the continuous higher lows here that we've gotten on XRP, again, you've got some, you have a few, I guess you have the one right here, for example, on March 26th, a little bit of an anomaly in a sense because this is Bitstamp, so someone probably dumped a little bit on Bitstamp. You'd have to check the other exchanges. But lo and behold, you can still see it's closing in between this range here. So if we get a close, I would say above 33 cents, to be more safe, I'd say maybe 33.5 or 335 for the play here. Or if you get a close below 29 cents, those are my levels where I'm going to either be bullish or bearish. So again, if it gets up here to 335 and closes, I'm going to be bullish. And if it goes below 29 cents, I'm going to be bearish in that case for altcoins. So again, I think these are the three cryptos you need to watch, guys, just at least to keep an eye on. What you make of them and what you make of what I'm looking for in this case, again, it's all up to you. You guys can apply your own trading strategies. But I really just see that it'd be much more likely as all cryptos are starting to show this similar pattern for Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of others on their USD charts, where there's a continuous range of resistance, continuously higher lows. This is an ascending triangle. It means that eventually we're going to possibly see some really positive price action. But I don't think it's happening tomorrow. I don't really see it happening this week. But who knows? We'll have to see. I could be proven wrong in that case. So with that, guys, I'm going to keep it there. I want to let you all know about one other thing. We did our meetup, actually. My voice was much better last night. But we did our first Project Genesis meetup in the Netherlands, and it was a great time. We had about, I think I'd say probably about 30 to 40 people attending in total. Met some awesome people, met some of the people who are active, community contributors in the Netherlands area, as well as some students from The Hague, which I recently did a speech at. And a lot of wonderful people, and you can just tell that people are there. Even from a bull market when I came to Amsterdam back last year in 2018 in January. To now, there just seems to be about that same level of energy, and they seem to be here for the fundamentals and the technology. And I know that's almost kind of like a buzz statement, but really, I think that they're really here for the right purposes. So I'm going to make sure I come back here more often and connect with people in this area, because it seems like there's a lot of good brains and a lot of good talent in the area that could help build out Project Genesis. And if you guys want to learn more about it, you guys can go to projectgenesisfoundation.org. Again, not an ICO, it's just an open source initiative I've been self-funding, and something that I believe can improve a lot of the protocols that already exist in the crypto space. All right, guys, well, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for bearing with me today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.